Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wrestling fans around the world, I would like to personally welcome you to episode 32 of the greatest wrestling podcast in the tri state area, the Hot Tag Podcast. Now, this is the podcast where we talk about everything and anything pro wrestling. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Rashad. The other half of your host, my tag team partner in crime, Justin. Justin, what's good with you, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Back for another episode. Ready to talk wrestling.
Back for another week, baby. Hey, man. Listen, ain't no games, ain't no gimmicks. We ain't gonna delay it. We know what y'all here for. Y'all here for the same thing we here for. As my counterpart says, pro wrestling. So as always, we're gonna start off with the headlines, man. What's the headlines for the week, brother?
So not too much going on uh, in the wrestling world this week in terms of breaking news. One thing that did stick out, whatever, or made its rounds is that uh, Pat McAfee, former WWE commentator, commentated Raw and maybe even I think SmackDown too, for a while. Uh, but we all know Pat also does College Game Day, and he has his own Pat McAfee show on ESPN. So he's not always around in the WWE, and it's been quite some time since Pat has been around. Uh, Pat recently did an interview, and someone asked him if, or was it? I think it might have been a live actually, and someone asked him when he would come back to the WWE or if he would ever come back to the WWE, and Pat basically said something along the lines of, let me pull up the article so I'm not misquoting him. Will I be returning to the WWE in the future? I don't think you ever say never, especially with the WWE. But right now, it does not feel like it's something that's supposed to happen. It feels like the business has kind of passed me by a little bit. Grew up loving it, dreamed to work in it. Feel honored that I had the opportunity to work alongside the GOAT Michael Cole, but I feel like the business is in a good spot without me. I continue to watch. Um, so what are your feelings on Pat McAfee, and do you agree with him that the business has kind of passed by and there isn't kind of a need for him right now?
I don't think I don't think the business has, necessarily passed by him. Um, I obviously I always enjoy Pat on commentary. I even enjoy Pat in the ring. Um, but I don't think, the business has passed him by or it's to the point where he can't come back. I think Pat gave that unique voice to WWE, especially on commentary. It was raw. It was, real. It was unscripted, as a lot of things are. It was. It gave that sense of authenticity that I feel like it kind of the business kind of strayed away from in a sense. Um, so I always feel like any day, any time of the week, Pat McAfee gets on commentary, it'll be like he was on there yesterday. So I don't think it passed him by. But it's respectable that he, is self-aware that, like, listen, I had my fair share, I had my time, it's in a good spot. I don't need to force it. I don't need to, try to put my hat in the ring on something that I don't need to. Um, so I definitely respect that and his self-awareness to just, kind of say, like, listen, not saying I won't do it again, but there's no need for me right now. So I respect it. Shout out to Pat. I would always be down for him to return to commentary, or if he wanted to do like a one-off, maybe him and Jelly Roll be a tag team one day, and do a little tag team match. That'd be nice. So
Yeah, I agree. I think Pat McAfee added much needed personality and flair to the commentary position when it was needed. Um, I'm a guy that most of the time the commentary is background noise for me. I barely even listen to it. But I found when Pat was on commentary, and I feel the same way about Booker T, uh, that the little things they would say about a character would catch me, and I would find myself chuckling. And yeah, I definitely think Pat was good for the WWE and good for commentary while he was doing it. So yeah, I definitely disagree with the sentiment that the business has passed him by. I think he will always have a spot. But like you said, I do hear and understand where he's coming from. I think the commentary teams that we have now, Joe Tess and Wade and Cole and Corey, I feel like those are like two of the sweet spots uh, when it comes to color commentary and play by play. Yeah, it's not perfect. Like I catch Joe Tess messing up and Michael Cole messes up all the time. But it definitely provides that sweet spot. Whereas if when Cole and Pat are on commentary together, sometimes they tend to stray away from what's actually going on in the segment or in the promo. And sometimes it's not a bad thing, but other times it could definitely be kind of off-putting. I definitely will miss Pat on commentary, but the man is a man of many trades, many businesses, many ventures. So I understand that he might not have the time to dedicate to going on the road week to week with the WWE right now.
same sentiments. Say we both agree. Shout out
Yeah,
Pat
but
McAfee.
hey, shout out Pat. But going forward in other headlines, or not so much headlines, but just uh update WrestleMania 41 update or 42. Uh, if you haven't got your tickets for WrestleMania, um, because they were too expensive, and trust me, they were definitely way too expensive at first. It's been noticed recently that WWE is starting to chop down ticket prices for WrestleMania. Some tickets even going down $200-$300.
I don't get why it took for a WrestleMania for them to understand ticket prices are too high. It's been too high for like the past 2 3 years now. Like, how can you provide a product and you provide it at an outlandish price and expect people to pay to see that product and then be upset when ticket sales aren't doing what they're supposed to do? Bro, why am I paying $400 to $500 to sit in the nosebleeds?
I mean, ticket sales now are basically what they were when WrestleMania 41 ticket sales first opened. So they're starting to get back to around that price. Um, yeah, the inflation in price I get because it's the second WrestleMania they're doing in Vegas, and they broke all the records in Vegas last year. So why not try to, I guess, double that? But mainly because of the fact that you did do Vegas last year. So it's going to be extremely hard to get people to come back for another show in this another two shows in the same
Hmm.
location. And this time they're more expensive than they were the year before. And the build hasn't been as great as the year before. No wonder they had trouble selling these tickets.
And not to not to add insult to injury, but like you have a lot of key people that are out injured. So like not only do you have to shift plans, because we've seen Unreal, we see where they start the build for Mania. They started literally like right after the Mania is over. Like it's a whole reset. You feel me? So like we see the build, but once again, things change because wrestlers get injured, so they have to shift. And injuries have been so bad this year. Like there's so many people injured to where you have to shift so much. And not only are you shifting, like you said, they're doing Vegas again. Vegas is not a cheap place to go to. It's very expensive just if you want to go for like a week or a weekend. And even if you don't go to any events, it's still expensive because Vegas is a tourist spot. You have all the casinos and hotels and everything. So it's already expensive enough to go to Vegas. And then on top of that, you're buying your WrestleMania tickets that are also expensive. Of course it's going to be hard to go and break the records that you had last year.
So the going price for WrestleMania tickets just to get in the door, like probably not even too long ago, was about $200, $250 to get in the door. Uh, those ticket prices now are probably looking more closer to the 170 range. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, quietly marking down the prices after underwhelming sales thus far. They're
I think
still
what
go
they've
ahead.
only sold what, maybe 35,000 both nights right now.
Yeah, around that. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe a little higher. There's still so many seats available. If you look now, I I personally expect tickets to come down even more. Um,
Yeah, closer
at this
to
point,
event.
yeah.
Yeah, closer. Yeah.
So if you're looking to get WrestleMania tickets, uh, if the markdown now wasn't good enough, I would say wait a little closer to the show, and you should be able to get you some tickets for a more affordable price if you keep your eye out for them. But
Hopefully this trend continues. So
yeah, hopefully this trend continues. But that's all for the headlines this week. We're now going to get into the weekly show reviews, starting off with Monday Night Raw. Rashaad, how did you feel about Monday Night Raw this week?
um Monday Night Raw wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Um I preferably had, two things that I enjoyed. Well, actually three things. Um Obviously I enjoyed the top of the show, with Seth and his masked men. You know, I tend to call what he did at the end with him putting the mask back on and all the masked men scrambling. I call that the architect shuffle. Um,
Very
you know,
polarizing segment for sure. That like
yeah,
people either loved or hated that segment from what I
and,
saw
and
on social
and
media.
it's smart because like he's not 100% yet. Like he feel me, he's not like medically cleared. So him utilizing the masked men is such a smart like it's such a smart plan for like on his end because one, not only does it have that element of surprise, but two, it's like you don't know who to attack. You could be attacking. You think you're attacking Seth, but you're not. Like he's somewhere up in the crowd, somewhere looking down, and you're attacking random dudes. So I think that's so smart.
It, a lot
You
of
know.
people thought that it looked kind of goofy, and to be honest, I can't say they're wrong. It definitely did not come out looking the way I'm sure WWE intended it to look. Because if you pay attention hard enough, you could kind of keep up with who Seth Rollins was in the midst of the whole thing. But I think what they could have done if they wanted it to look better is they probably should have filled the ring up entirely
Mm-hmm.
with the masked men.
I
Uh,
agree.
Kind of saved them and let him come out alone at first when he first gets called out, and then when the Vision comes out to uh, jump on him, then you bring out the horde of masked men and completely fill the ring up with them so that you don't know which one is Seth Rollins and kind of have him
Mm-hmm.
escape that way. I feel like it
And
would
just
have went over a lot better.
just have them shuffle, like just have them just run around randomly. You feel me? That would have been much better. I agree. But I mean, listen, you work with what you got. It definitely had you frozen in the moment. So hey, hopefully Rollins will be medically clear come WrestleMania time or come close to WrestleMania time. Um, until then,
Yeah, I'm sure
you
he
know,
will be clear. Now, the main thing is who does he face?
yeah, because it all depends on Braun Breaker.
Yeah, well, it all depends on what uh, the status of Braun Breaker is. Uh, it could be him. It could be Brock right now. I'm hearing
Mm-hmm.
some things about Logan. So it sucks that my boys' WrestleMania plans are kind of up in the air right now. He literally main evented the show last year, and now he might not even have a match if they can't find a suitable opponent for him. It's kind of crazy, but I'm sure they'll find something. My hope is that Braun Breaker is able to return because I do think that is the match.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, another thing I liked was another thing I liked was Finn and Dom, the whole Judgment Day segment. You know, we're pretty much. I mean, Finn came out. Dom wanted Finn out and wanted Finn to apologize, and Finn was like, "Hey, I'm sorry that you don't listen, and you got what you deserve." And then it turned from there. Judgment Day has officially turned on Finn Balor.
The implosion of the Judgment Day, something that people have been calling for a while now, and it was kind of up in arms on who was going to get the boot from the Judgment Day. But in my opinion, the obvious choice was Finn. I feel like Finn was the easier choice for people to get behind, mainly because people have been wanting to see Finn Balor break away from the Judgment Day for quite some time, and especially after the matches he had with Punk, it was definitely kind of solidified like that Finn Balor would be the guy to turn face from the Judgment Day as people were starting to get behind him. I really like this segment. I like how it was done. Uh, I love the callback from Finn to the NXT turn he did on Johnny
With the
Gargano.
with the jacket.
Yeah, with the jacket, but this time
Yeah.
it's him turning face. I love that callback. I love JD turning on Finn and staying alongside Dom and Raquel and the rest of the Judgment Day. Uh, mainly because I feel like JD has been kind of playing that backseat role to Finn for a while, and I know how good JD McDonough is character wise, in ring, on the mic, and I feel like now he's going to get a chance to show that. So yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to Dom becoming the biggest heel in the company again and really taking on the Judgment Day as a leader. And
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like Dom's going to knock it out the park. Him and Liv, the power couple, especially post Mania, because I do see Liv beating Stephanie Valkyrie for the World Championship.
Amen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to put new life in the Judgment Day, in my opinion.
Listen, bro. I want to see the demon versus Dom. Bring the demon back.
See, I'm on the side where I want this demon to come back as well, but I don't think the demon needs to come back at WrestleMania.
I don't know about you, but I think the last thing that did it for me in terms of the Raw has to be the CM Punk promo and the Usos.
Yeah, not too much standing out on the wrestling side of things this week for WWE. I mean, Bailey wins the gauntlet match. You can kind of see that coming a
Yeah.
mile away. Um, Oba Femi versus Rusev was good, but we all knew Oba was going to or should dominate that match. But the promos and the segments from the opening segment to the Judgment Day segment to the promo between CM Punk and the Usos we're about to talk about now, I feel like that is definitely what carried Monday Night Raw, in my opinion.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. Those were pretty much those were like the pinpoint. Those were like, okay, the WWE planting the seeds into, further WrestleMania.
Yeah, but
Um,
let's talk about it. So CM Punk comes out and he's basically uh talking about how he wasn't sure if how the people were going to react to him because of what he said last week, and he was happy to see that the people were still receptive to him. And really, before he could say anything else, he is interrupted by the Usos, who made it clear earlier in the night that they had something to say to Punk about what he said about their uncle last week to Roman. And yeah, the Usos come out and immediately they do a great job of establishing the difference in personalities of the two
yeah.
Usos.
I mean, Jay, you got Jay's the crash out. He's like
Yeah, Jay
apologize.
Jay
I'm
is
whoop your
boiling
ass.
from the time he is walking down the ramp while Jimmy is maintaining his cool. He's still upset. You can see it, but he's maintaining his cool. Whereas Jay is a bit more ready to fly off the handle, ready to sock Punk in his mouth. The Usos are asking Punk to apologize, and it was crazy to hear the whole crowd kind of side with the Usos at one point.
Mm-hmm.
The whole crowd wanted Punk to apologize, and
Cause like I feel like that like that even when we talked about last week, I was like, that was deep. Like that was like, yo, like you were gonna get some slack from the others saying that. Like to Roman, okay, cool. You say that to Roman, you're getting under his skin, but then you also got to think like, yo, you're still good friends with the Usos, like. You feel me, Jacob Fatu, like, like it's still others, like people in that bloodline that like you also offended. So I felt like yeah. I'm pretty sure the crowd was they was with too. Like yeah, like if you gonna apologize to anybody, at least apologize to the Usos. Like You feel me? It wasn't even. I didn't mean to offend y'all. Like it wasn't like that. But
But
leaving to CM Punk.
if you know CM Punk, you know Punk is not the man to apologize for much, really anything at all. If he said
And
it most of the time, 9 times out of 10, he meant it. So Punk, of course, does a great job of not letting the crowd uh, turning away from what he will go on to say about Roman and how Roman could take shots at Dusty, but when it was Punk taking shots back, everybody got all upset, and how if Roman didn't have to apologize for what he said, why should he have to apologize for what he said? And the Usos are basically trying to say that it's not about Roman. It's not about Roman Reigns. It's about the fact that you disrespected our uncle who's not here to defend himself. And the whole crowd is cheering for Punk to apologize. And Punk says, I apologize. But just as quickly as he says that, he turns it back over on Roman, basically telling the Usos, like, hey, you're out here defending him, but he's not here defending his uncle himself. He's never here. Why are you still sticking up for a man that put y'all through shit and never apologized to y'all? Just beautiful back and forth between the two, and really allowing you as a fan to kind of choose your side. What side do you stand on? Where does your morals lay? Do you stand on the side of the Usos and not tolerating any disrespect for their family, or do you stand on the side of Punk, where it's like, well, if he can say these things and nobody get upset and ask for an apology, well, why can't I? I feel like that provides a great split dynamic leading into your main event, where you have people cheering for Roman and you have people cheering for Punk. Kind of gives me that same feel of that Rock Hogan dynamic, where you still got your people who love Hulk Hogan, but then you got your people who love The Rock. And you're going to be able to hear both sides. And that's what I feel like is going to the main event of WrestleMania between these two is going to feel like. It's going to feel very much like Rock and Hogan.
it's tough to describe it because it's like you know, it's not really a face heel kind of situation. It's like a anti-hero versus anti-hero in a sense, the way you look at it. Like whichever way you look at it, it's like, you know, you don't really have good guys, you don't really have bad guys. It's just who do you want to win more? And as this, like you said, like the Rock Hogan, like that's how I always depicted Rock and Hogan when they fought in Mania. Like it was like who do you want to win more? Who does the crowd want to cheer for more? You know, because like it's like they don't hate nobody. It's just like who's bigger. Um, but I mean that whole promo there was like it was deep because you could hear like there were moments of silence in the crowd where it's just like
Yeah.
shit.
Like the intensity was definitely there. The promo was very intense. Um, the Usos again did a great job of giving you Jay kind of flying off the handle, hitting the microphone every time he talked, screaming at Punk to apologize, and you have Jimmy explaining to Punk where they're coming from and
Hmm.
trying to get him to apologize more on the moral side of things, where Jay is straight intimidation.
Hmm.
Um,
And it's so funny because like all this is happening, and then as soon as CM Punk for me doubles down, Jimmy's the one that hits him,
Yeah,
not even Jay. Like, and that's what I think that like, oh shit, like Jimmy was the chill one, but he the one that struck first. He's like, all right, nigga, you feel me?
I mean the crowd was waiting for it. You can kind of feel the crowd, like when Punk
Yeah.
was still refusing to apologize. You can kind of feel the crowd, like, all right, well they're gonna hit him. Well, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
hit him. So and I like the way they built to it, not immediately letting Jay hit Punk when he was talking all that shit, but kind of just waiting for it and letting the anticipation build up. So yeah, that great way to end Raw, great promo, great segment. Um, Segments definitely carried Raw, promos definitely carried
Yeah,
Raw
I agree.
this week.
I agree. I'm not even gonna rate it. I'm not even gonna rate it because just like it segments and promos, just they got it. You feel me? And the same thing with SmackDown too. Like like the segments carried SmackDown as well.
Yeah,
Um, I
and I
mean,
guess I'll go into from there. I'll go into AEW real quick because I just want to point out how contrast AEW was from Raw and SmackDown this week, as whereas the wrestling carried AEW this week. Dynamite was carried by the wrestling. Mike Bailey versus Kyle Fletcher, uh, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy versus David Finlay, Gabe Kidd. These matches, Persephone versus Willow Nightingale, just really great matches on the show is what were the most entertaining parts of this show for me because the Heyman and MJF press conference kind of fell flat. I just found that interesting, like the stark contrast in how well WWE does promos and segments versus how well AEW does the in ring part of the weekly shows. It's a benefit for being able to watch both shows. That's all I gotta say.
we can transition into SmackDown because AEW had the matches, but here we SmackDown WWE had the promos. So I would have asked, how do you feel about the opening promo with Drew McIntyre? How he allegedly quit WWE.
Hey, brother, if I was Drew McIntyre, my papers would have been on the desk after last Friday. That's all I gotta say. My papers would have been on the desk after last Friday if I was Drew McIntyre.
Hey,
I feel like it's a little
I
too
don't
late
blame
to be
you.
quitting, sir.
I do not blame you because brother, the way they did your title run, man. Yeah, I'd have put my 2 weeks in it immediately, like after the match. Like as soon as I lost the title, all right. So it was good. Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all, but no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
It felt like this whole show was backstage segments.
Which is crazy because like usually it's at least like a few matches that's like solid. Like, obviously the open challenge and all that. But this it didn't feel like it didn't feel like it had anything that was just like, ooh.
Yeah, no
Uh,
open challenge. You could really feel the quality of this show drop
yeah,
without it.
I agree.
Um, you had Solo and Talatonga versus Uncle Howdy and Rowan, and for God's sake, why is this feud still going?
It needs to stop. I'm tired of
Why
it,
are
bro.
we still watching them fight over this lantern?
Like, yo, in a second, I'm about to go take the lantern and I'm throwing it in the garbage. I'm tired of it.
Like,
Tired of this, grandpa.
please. And we talk about feuds that should have been over a long time. This should have ended with Howdy versus Solo. I keep saying that. Why are we still here with this WWE?
Don't like what's next? JC or what? JC and Tama versus Loomis and Gacy. Come on, bro. Like, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. End it. Kill it, please.
You had the Irresistible Forces versus Charlotte and Alexa.
Now that was a good match right there.
We talked the Bella Twins up last week, and they made their appearance back on WWE programming on SmackDown. They end up interfering in this match, costing Charlotte and Alexa the match after Nia pulls one of the Bella Twins into a big boot from Charlotte. We have three teams. I guess they're going to go triple threat tag for the
It makes sense.
championships. I don't know if they'll do it at Mania or not. They did confirm the Bella Twins versus the Irresistible Forces next week on SmackDown. So
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte and Alexa will probably cost them, and that will lead to the triple threat tag. Miz TV with Jelly Roll. Danhausen stops Miz before the segment and tells him that he wants his own show with a list of celebrity guests and a desk to replace Miz TV. Miz says no, which of course causes Danhausen to curse him. Uh, Miz comes out to do Miz TV with Jelly Roll, and because Danhausen curses him, Miz is doing the intro for Miz TV, and his mic cuts off. Then Miz brings out Jelly Roll, tries to recruit him to let Miz be his mentor, and Jelly Roll says no. Miz uh, gets at Jelly Roll and says that he should be thanking him because he inspired Jelly Roll's weight loss a couple years ago when Miz had to help him up in the ring. Uh, Miz and Jelly Roll stare down until Kit Wilson makes an appearance. He says that Jelly Roll is running away from who he used to be, calls him fat phobic, which is low key dumb because how are you going to call a person that was fat phobic? But Jelly Roll pushes him. He pushes him back. Jelly Roll goes to hit him, and he hits Miz, and knocks him out. So I guess this is their way of getting Jelly Roll on the card to do maybe him and Danhausen versus Kit Wilson and The Miz.
I heard potentially it's going to be Kid Wilson, Miz, Jelly Roll, and Royce Keys at Mania. Mm. That's what I heard. And they're gonna call Rolls Royce.
I feel like that would be kind of dumb because you haven't had him on television at all. He's done nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You called him up to put him in this celebrity match with The Miz and Kit Wilson, two people who he should kill by himself. He should dominate both of them by himself. I don't think he needs to be in this match. I think if you want the match to be as entertaining as you could possibly get, of course, The Miz is a great person to have in there. Kit Wilson, Jelly Roll. I feel like Danhausen, if you're gonna have to have him wrestle eventually. You signed him as a wrestler at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Yeah, all his backstage stuff is good, but eventually he's gonna have to wrestle. I feel like this is one of the moments where you have him wrestle.
I do want to see my guy Royce Keys on WWE TV soon.
Definitely want
You
to
know,
see him on WWE TV. I don't know what the WWE is waiting for, but you had Trick versus Jacob Fatu. This comes after Drew quit earlier when Jacob tried to call him out to have a match at WrestleMania, which led to Jacob and Nick Aldis backstage, and that's where Trick comes and basically gets into it with Jacob Fatu, and Nick Aldis makes a match between them two for later on in the night. Drew ends up coming back, interfering in the match, and costing Jacob Fatu the match against Trick Williams. Trick Williams now can say he has a win over Jacob Fatu, which is crazy.
super crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but this, of course, sets up officially Drew versus Jacob on SmackDown. I doubt that match has a real ending.
It won't.
And they'll probably push it on to the WrestleMania card. I don't know why you would even announce the match for SmackDown and not just wait to do it at WrestleMania. But yeah, this match is they're definitely not going to have their real match on SmackDown. So there'll probably be some kind of screwy finish, or if the match even starts.
It'll probably be like a Saturday Night's main event again with Cody and Jacob. Speaking of
We have to,
Cody,
yeah. Speaking of Cody, we got to get to the promo or the segment that had everybody talking. The contract signing between Randy and Cody. Cody basically, he says in 2007 he had his first match against Randy. Fast forward 20 years. Now he's wrestling Randy in the main event of WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. He talks about how much he respects Randy, how much he's done for him. Randy takes the mic and says that Cody doesn't understand that, yes, they're friends, but when it comes to WrestleMania and it comes to the WWE Championship, he needs the title. Both men sign a contract and shake hands, and then Randy low blows him, slams his head against the table. He throws him outside the ring. He busts Cody open, and Cody was bleeding really good at.
that was some
And
John Moxley over there.
Randy lays Cody's head on the steel steps while he's laying on the announce table. Nick Aldis and security try to separate him, but Randy comes back. He grabs a chair and basically hits a concerto on Cody while his head is placed in between the steel steps. Randy gets in the ring, grabs a chair, sits in the chair with the WWE Championship, and that's how SmackDown goes off the air. They're really pulling the trigger on this Randy heel turn. How did you feel about the heel turn?
Um, I I kind of figured somebody was going to turn heel. I just didn't know who. But I see we pulled the trigger on Randy, and guess what? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I like heel Randy. I like Randy in general, whether he's heel or face. But I think this goes to show that unlike Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton will not hesitate. He will not no more. He used to, but he's not hesitating no more. You feel me? And the thing with me is I feel like if they didn't turn him heel, that would have been one of those things like, yo, is he, you feel me? Is he going to hesitate like this? Like, what is he going to do? How is he going to, react in the ring? I feel like this solidifies Randy Orton is not, he has no hesitation in his mind whatsoever. He's going to go in there and do whatever it takes to win number 15. And that's exactly how I feel. And I'm happy. I'm happy that it happened.
I understand what you're saying when you say that now we know that Randy's not going to hesitate. I do feel like this means that we will get a more serious side of Randy at WrestleMania. That's one thing we could take away from this. However, I do feel like you did all of this to achieve the same result you would have gotten either way. Um, I feel like, and I feel like I said it last week as well, regardless of if Randy turned on Cody or not, that crowd was not going to boo Randy Orton. And if you watch it back, the exact thing I said was going to happen happened. They cheered. They cheered very loud when Randy turned on Cody. Because it's
True.
Randy at the end of his career and we all kind of just are happy to see Randy Orton. No one is going to boo Randy Orton at this stage of his career, turning heel when where a lot of people feel he does his best work as, and trying to go after another WWE championship. No one was going to boo him in this circumstance. I feel like it was done well. The turn was done well. It made Randy seem a lot more aggressive than he's seemed in a long time. And I wouldn't even be mad if it came out as Randy being the person who attacked Jacob and Jay and all these other people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, However, I feel like if it would have been, if the heel turn would have been safe for that, actually would have got some heat behind Randy. Whereas I think you're going to go into WrestleMania still with the crowd split in two ways. Still cheering for Randy, still cheering for Cody, just like you had a face versus face match anyway. To me, all this shows is that Cody should not trust people anymore. And if that's what you were going for, then mission accomplished. But if with this hit, with what happened on Friday, if you were going with an attempt at a heel turn and getting people to boo, I don't think you're going to get that. I don't think you were ever going to get that result.
History shows us, especially with Cody Rhodes, man, you, you can't trust him as far as you can throw him. And that's just how it is. That's how the cookie crumbles, you know? Um, if you had to just early prediction, we'll talk about it obviously closer to, but do you think WWE pulls the trigger on Randy getting his 15, or do you think Cody walks out Mania as a champion once again? Or
Before what
still?
happened on Friday, I had Randy winning all the way.
Mm. You think that
Now,
changes?
I do believe Cody walks out of WrestleMania with the championship.
Not bad. I still have Randy winning, unfortunately. You know, I'm sorry. I feel like WWE will make a like you can give the title back to Cody down the line, but I think I think you make people happy right now by giving the title to Randy. Let him hold it for a few months, and then maybe lose it at Backlash or something. You know, but hey, that's that's all we got for our weekly show recaps. Let us know, what you thought about the weekly shows this week. If there's anything that you liked, and yeah, that's it. Before we go into everybody's favorite segment, I sent my counterpart here a particular photo, and in that photo, uh, if I can pull it up, in that photo, we have something we call a reverse grid. Now, if you know grids, you know you have categories. You have to fit those categories horizontally and vertically, right? So with this grid, I'm gonna go vertical. I'm going to go vertical down. We have Batista, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. We have Dominic Mysterio, Raquel Rodriguez, Finn Balor. We have Rob Van Dam, Oscar, and Sheamus. Now, obviously, going horizontal, Batista, Dom, RVD, Charlotte, Raquel, Oscar, Becky, Finn, and Sheamus. Now, it is up to Justin to complete the grid. So you have to find out the categories that they have in common. Um, so whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like you got if matter of fact, before we do anything, let me find the grid so I make sure I don't get everything I don't get it wrong. So yeah, whenever you're ready.
So I'm gonna start with what I feel or is the easiest one off rip, and that's the bottom row. Uh, Becky, Finn, and Sheamus. That has to be Irish people, right?
It is. It is. So Becky, Finn, and Sheamus are all Irish.
Okay, okay, that's easy. How many chances do I get?
Uh, I'll say if you feel I'll give you like four chances. I'll give you 3 to 4 chances. If you feel like you're deep in the ditch and you're stuck, then I'll either give you a hint or I'll give you the answer. And
All
we'll
right,
just knock out that.
all right. So I got one. Okay,
So you got one. So you got the bottom horizontal, Becky, Finn, Sheamus.
okay. Middle vertical. Dom, Raquel, Finn, Judgment Day members.
Yes, correct.
All
Those are
right.
all those current Judgment Day members.
That's where it gets a little difficult. However, my ball knowledge will get me through here. Top
Hmm.
row horizontal. Batista, Dominic, RVD.
Hmm.
I'ma say this is teammates of Rey Mysterio.
These are teammates of Rey Mysterio. Absolutely. Yep. So you got three correct right now.
Three correct. Three correct. Okay, I'm gonna take a shot at the middle row horizontal.
Hmm.
Is this former NXT Women's Champions?
Yes, these are all former NXT Women Champions.
Come on, come on. All right, all
Yeah.
right. We cooking. We cooking. All
All
right.
right. So you got two. So you have the first vertical down. You have the last vertical down. So vertical first is Batista, Charlotte, and Becky, and then the last is RVD, Oscar, and Sheamus.
What do Rob Van Dam, Oscar, and Sheamus have in common? Okay.
I can give you hints if you I can give you at least two hints if you need hints.
No, don't give me the hints. I feel like the hints may make it a little too easy. All right. The first vertical row.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take a shot at WrestleMania main eventers.
Not WrestleMania main eventers. That's a good try. That's a definitely a good guess. Not WrestleMania main eventers.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's you're on the right spot with that though.
Okay. Is it triple threat matches at WrestleMania?
Not triple threat matches. Not true. So I do like the Mania. You're somewhere with Mania, but it's you're I do like you being in the Mania mindset. There's just parts to that. There's just there's
Parts
there's
to
there's just parts to being being at Mania.
I'm gonna take a break from that row. I'm gonna go to the other row.
Hmm.
Uh Van Dam, Oscar, Sheamus. Are these people who kick?
No, good try, good try. That's a
No,
great guess.
not
No,
people who
no,
kick.
not people
Okay,
who kick. Mm-mm.
okay.
I feel like this one might be a little tricky.
Rob Van Dam, Oscar, Sheamus. I think I got it.
Hmm.
Is this Money in the Bank winners?
These are definitely Money in the Bank winners.
Woo! Okay, one more. One more. Now you said Batista, Charlotte,
Charlotte Flair, Becky
and
Lynch.
Becky Lynch has something to do with Mania. Okay. Is it Royal Rumble winners?
is definitely Royal Rumble winners.
Hey, come on,
It is definitely Royal Rumble winners. So,
come
as a
on.
completed grid, we have Batista, Charlotte, Becky, Royal Rumble winners. Don, Raquel, Finn, Judgment Day, RVD, Oscar, Sheamus, Money in the Bank. Then you have Batista, Dom, RVD, Tag Team Rey Mysterio, Charlotte, Raquel, Oscar, NXT Women's Champions, and of course, Becky, Finn, Sheamus, all being Irish. And that is the
Wow, I did
reverse
not
grid.
realize how much Batista, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch actually had in common, man. Did a
Listen,
couple things right there.
it's a small
Wow,
world, man. It's a small world. But hey, shout out uh Beta Studio for the grid. You feel me?
man, that was
If you
fun.
guys if you guys have any grids you want to send in and we can test the ball knowledge of Justin, send us in and you feel me? We'll get into it. But before we leave, you already know we gotta go into everybody's favorite segment, and that's hot spots. Feel me? Hot spots of the week. All right. Now, not a crazy week. I don't really got that many hot spots, but I will say my hot spots of the week first goes to Danhausen. He is growing on me. Shout out Danhausen. I am a fan Hausen. I will get a shirt Hausen soon. But shout out Danhausen. He's definitely entertaining. Second hot spot for me has to be uh, the Irresistible Forces. I love me some Nia Jackson. I love me some Lash Legend. Them girls, they know how to get down and dirty. Right. Shout out to the Irresistible Forces. And then last but certainly not least, shout out hotspot of the week goes to Randall Keith Orton. And I'm saying Randall Keith Orton because I feel like '09 Randy is starting to be awakened. So shout out to Randall Keith Orton. Shout out to Randy Orton, man. That boy, hey, ball head Randy. '09. It's nothing to be played with.
Yeah, you should definitely bring the ball head back at WrestleMania. As for me, my hot spots of the week, firstly, is going to go to the Judgment Day segment from Monday Night Raw. Really enjoyed it. Felt like for all the time that we waited for this to happen, it happened as best as I could draw it up. So that's going to be my first hotspot of the week. My second hotspot of the week is going to go to the Usos. I really like their work from the opening of the show, uh, coming down and help LA Knight to backstage when they decided to confront CM Punk all the way out to when they do confront CM Punk. I like the hot and cold aspect that they presented off. The Usos have really come a long way from coming into to the WWE undistinguishable to having their own very distinctive personality. So the Usos are going to be my second hotspot of the week. And my third hotspot of the week is, of course, going to go to Mike Bailey, Kyle Fletcher, TNT Championship. Crazy, insane match. If you haven't seen it, you have to go watch it back. It's the craziest match. Um, Even more crazy than the match they had in the Continental Classic, and that was crazy. So, yeah, those are going to be my three hot spots of the week.
Hey man, listen, if you guys get any hot spots of the week, please let us know in any of our comments. Shoot us a message, DM us, let us know any hot spots of the week you have. But as always, that wraps up episode 32 of the Hot Tag podcast. All right. Make sure you follow us on all our socials, like, comment, subscribe, and follow us for more content. All right. We appreciate all the love and the support. Without y'all, nothing is possible. That's Justyn and Rashaad. And always remember, stay sharp, stay fresh, stay hot. Peace.